Okay, a little bit farther back. Sorry if anybody's tuning in right now. I'm just adjusting some of the settings for the live stream. Okay, I think we're good. Adjust this for here. Okay. Let's take a look at BTC. Oh, when I left, we were just below 6 or 70. Now back down to 68.6. All right. Kind of looks like we're breaking that bear or the bullish trend from earlier on Bitcoin. Jesus, I need to cut this beard. All right. Well, welcome to anybody who's tuning in on YouTube or on X. Finally got everything set up. Sorry for the delay there. Interesting day so far. A lot of stuff going on. You know, obviously on the macro level, all the news from this weekend with Iran. And it seems to have been lifting up Bitcoin. Bitcoin went up almost $5,000 earlier in the session, from 65 all the way to 70. For now, we're just going to watch and see if this trend can stay up. My next entry would probably be around 67.7 if it did get that low. I don't really plan on shorting to there because I just don't think that the risk and reward is that great here. You probably squeeze $1,000 worth of downside for maybe $1,000 worth of upside risk. So a one-to-one trade for me isn't normally the kind of risk to reward I like looking for. Unfortunately, I missed the dip buy this morning. Was looking at getting into BTC below 65 today. Unfortunately, that didn't give me that entry, so it kind of sucks. But at the same time, played to my rules, and you can never go wrong with that, right? So lots of interesting things happening now. This 67 is probably one of our biggest resistances when it comes to BTC in the short to medium term. So if we're looking for anything, it will be how we react between 70 and 71.6. If it holds up and it pushes up towards 80, then you know that we most likely bottomed for this period for the cycle. So we're gonna keep an eye on price. I'm gonna be flicking back and forth between Bitcoin and SPY. and taking any questions, looking at any charts you guys want me to look at. So feel free to write in the chat either on YouTube or at me directly on X, and I'll try and answer your question with the best of my ability. So I'm gonna just take it slow. If I don't talk for a minute or two, then just know, no, I'm still. You can see me. I'm still here, but I'm not talking. I've got nobody co-hosting today, so I'm just here to kind of sit with you guys and watch price and answer any questions that come through. Excuse me if I cough. I'm still recovering from a sickness, so I might be coughing here and there. Of course, it's hitting me bad right now. Damn, I look like shit. I've been sick in bed for the last week or so. About 4 or 5 days, really. I'm being dramatic, but it's kicked my ass. Luckily, market was pretty slow, and now I'm feeling a little bit better, and market's kind of picking back up again, so good to take advantage of the price action now. Oh. Excuse me, man. I hate to do that. I'll try and mute the microphone if I'm gonna cough. I know that's annoying as fuck. Alright, man. I really think that we're gonna see a push above 70 by the end of the day today. Whether it's before New York close or not, I'm not too sure, but it just feels like that's right, We've had a test over 70. I feel like it's about 2 times now in the last couple weeks. I think it's about time that we get a push above. What I like to kind of always emphasize is that if the more times you test a resistance, just like a support, it goes both ways, but the more times you test either, the more likely it is that that support or resistance is going to break, right? The more times it gets weaker and weaker. Think about, hitting into a bunch of water hitting into a dam. The more and more that hits, the weaker it eventually gets, So unless more sell orders are hitting and more people are building that resistance up, it'll get significantly weaker. Ugh. So nobody has any questions or anything like that so far? I'm just gonna vibe out. I'll take a look at SPY while sit and look at everything. Jesus, SPY's breaking up into new highs too now, so I wouldn't be surprised. Most of the day today, SPY has been correlating pretty well with BTC, so seeing us up here right now on SPY doesn't really surprise me. And it should probably signal that we're going to go higher on Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin seems to be lagging that price move for right now, but give it till the end of day. We're going to be watching 688.95 on SPY. And what's this other level here? 688.16. So a couple of these hourly resistances. On SPY, we're broken over 688 now, so looks pretty strong, honestly. I mean, all day it's been strong, but from a gap down, a solid recovery. The rest of the market too doing well. CrowdStrike up almost 4%. I was looking at that to long today, but I kind of missed out. I just got SPY, but SPY paid well, really well for calls. So I can't be too mad that I missed Crowd. Oil, so like crude oil, still up almost 6%. And from my list, like what I'm seeing is a lot of the defensive stocks that they had been rotating into coming down quite a bit. So we could be in the middle right now, or maybe not the middle, but at the beginning or just after the beginning of the next rotation here. Keep an eye on SPY at this 68.20 level, 688.20. Could have a slight rejection here, looking back at the hourly candle from Thursday at 1 p.m. There has been a little bit of a sell area here on SPY between these two levels at 689 and 688. It's been some supply. I'm not going to short it here though, just because it's been so strong today, and the trend in the last half hour is definitely to the upside. So I don't try. I would maybe go for it towards the upper end of this resistance zone, like a supply zone around 689, but 688, I don't think it's worth it. Unless you're like, maybe if you're dollar cost averaging into some puts for further out, and maybe next week or something like that. Yeah, this weekly resistance at 71K goes back really far. Like it goes back to 2024. So it's a resistance a couple years in the making from before the previous move above to 100K. So if you're looking at, levels that are really interesting on Bitcoin, that's got to be one of them. Struggling a little bit here at 688. SPX could technically go over 690, 6,910 by the end of the day. It could go even higher if it really squeezes, because it seems like a lot of people were caught on their ass by shorting. There was a lot of people that were shorting the news before close on Friday of the American embassy closing in Iran, and those people are kind of fucked today, honestly. Unless this completely erases its gains by the end of the day, which I don't see happening. Before power hour, 68.20 could be the kind of small resistance, but I don't see it. I don't see it really holding up too hard. Take a look at the 4 hour too. Yeah, you can see like this level's been pretty important. It was support here at the beginning of the month, then became resistance here on the 18th. Had another strong wick off of 690 on the 23rd. Kind of became support there for a few days until the end of the day on Thursday. Had a slight bounce back up Friday. Then the rest of the week downtrended. And now we're at Monday with this really insane rally. So same kind of look on BTC, but a lot more aggressive. Bitcoin had a small falling wedge that broke to the downside, which is kind of unfortunate because I was positioned long here. I was positioned long like around 65.5 or 66. Broke below 65. I got kind of screwed. Liquidity swept down below 63, just enough to get a bunch of longs burned. They picked price back up here. Just at this 62 level, and we rallied from there. So we came back up, tested 67, pulled back down to 65 with another rising wedge. If you look here, you can see wasn't as clear, but or mostly like technically just a flag, but flag this side, flag the other way, and now we're back up. Rejecting off of 70 though, so for now or back below 69. We'll see. It's kind of odd that Bitcoin hasn't been holding that move with SPY going back up, but looks like it's getting somewhat tighter. If it breaks out of this flag back to the upside, we should see 70K. But I could see it testing bottom range, maybe around 68.4. Keep in mind, this is on the 15-minute too, so this is more short-term. This is since the top of the initial rally, right, from today. See if Bitcoin breaks out of this falling wedge on the 15-minute. What are you doing, Cosmo? I think this week is probably a great week to start the $100 to $5,000 challenge. I think there's going to be a good amount of volatility, like there already has been today. I really should have started it this morning, but I wanted to just make sure that we were going to get the injection of liquidity, which looks like we did, judging by the volume, especially earlier in the session today. I think that it's a good time to start up this challenge. All right. Oh, Steels, I just saw that you're in the Discord. If you want, like, for video, I'm just on YouTube too right now. So I'm streaming. If you want that component to it, you can see what I'm looking at. Also, shout out to a true OG. One of my oldest, my long time supporters. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for coming in. I'm surprised I don't have more questions. Anybody have anything they want me to take a look, analyze, do some TA on? Let me know.
What's up, Ray? Sorry, I couldn't say nothing when you were talking earlier. Appreciate the shout out. Good to see you back on.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, it took a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm back. Markets are hot again. It's time to lock back in, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you back, man.
Yeah, it's good to see that you're still in here. I feel like a lot of the OGs have kind of tapped out. I don't know if they've, blown their accounts or whatever in the last year or so since I haven't been as active. But getting back onto the options, back onto trading more than just Bitcoin.
Got it. And you said you're on YouTube too, right?
Yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube right now, so you can actually see my screen and everything like that.
Okay. Cool. All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, good talking to you, bro. All right, what do we think? We think we're gonna break out of this wedge? I'm leaning towards one more downside move towards 68.5 ish, and then maybe a nice green candle to the upside again. That's what I'm thinking. Oh shit! I was muted. I coughed. So I muted my mic. I forgot. I don't know how long ago that was. What an amateur move. Oh, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. I was pretty much just discussing that to myself, I guess, that the oil plays, I think, are, you know, they're everyone knows. It's like that Buzz Lightyear meme where all of them are on the wall and their packaging all saying the same thing. Everybody in the world right now is saying, "Oh, oil's gonna go up. The Hormuz Strait has been closed off. 20% of the world's oil production." You know what I mean? It's not an original thought. It's not. It doesn't have any edge. There's no edge there, and it's like my favorite movie that has to do with trading by far, all time, is Wall Street. You know, when Michael Douglas is talking to Charlie Sheen about what they do at the hedge funds, and he's like, "There's no." I can't remember the exact quote, but the essence of the conversation is that by the time everybody else knows, you're too late. You're fucked. So you need to come up with these ideas. You need to have theses that'll work out ahead of time before, you know, the regular guy can figure it out. So you and 100,000 other people saying that they're going to go long on oil when that's the obvious move. You have to figure that these hedge funds have had some insider information, or not even insider. We've had this information that these strikes on Iran were coming, and anybody who's educated on, you know, war strategy in the region would be able to tell you that the Hormuz Strait being shut down was the next logical step in that situation or that scenario. So if that was going to get shut down, you have to figure that these guys have been rotating into energy oil plays for months now. So what that ends up being is now everyone starts thinking, oh, oil's going to go up, blah, blah, blah. These guys have already rotated in, they've already made their money, and now you're their exit liquidity. So I think we're going to see a big rotation in the next month or so. It's happening right now. You can kind of see defensive stocks are being rotated out of, not to be confused with defense stocks like Lockheed Martin or Boeing or, you know, Raytheon, any of those companies. By defensive, I mean the group of stocks that usually get invested in when there's economic uncertainty. So anything that goes from, you know, like consumer products, healthcare, you know, these like grocery brands like Costco and Walmart, these things that even in recessions and stuff like that, they hold their value, or at least they don't lose as much as the rest of the broader market. We saw a pretty decent rotation into those stocks in the last couple of months, and I think we might be seeing a rotation out of those back into some more higher risk things. There was a lot of uncertainty before the strikes. Now the strikes have happened. We kind of know what we're dealing with. They took out the leader. We're gonna assume that whatever leader that the U.S. you know backs to take over this new Iranian regime, he's gonna be more cooperative when it comes to crude oil in the region. So if all that happens, then we're gonna see more bullishness, and you know, just more certainty into the market leads to more liquidity getting put into the market and into some of the more risk heavy plays. So I'd be looking at Nvidia. I'd be looking at, you know, some of these tech stocks that have maybe been slightly underperforming, with the exception of Nvidia. But you know, Nvidia is the top dog. These guys may be getting a little bit more money pumped into them now that we have some more, like a better idea of what's going on. And that would include that same basket of riskier stocks where they would rotate into would theoretically include Bitcoin, right? And that's probably why we saw a injection of liquidity this morning and Bitcoin going up $5,000. So just something to keep an eye on. I know the obvious moves are, they've been pumping up precious metals, gold, silver. A lot of the miners have been outperforming and doing well because of the increased price of gold and silver and the rest of the precious metals. Oil, the dollar's been lower. Uh, so there's been some obvious plays that have been pretty easy money for a bit now, and I think we're going to see a small rotation out of that, and then bringing money out into new sectors, more risk-heavy sectors, at least for now. Things can change. The problem is with this administration, not to get political or anything, but everyone knows that he can tweet, and then in the drop of a hat, everything changes. The political landscape, the economic landscape can change by one person's will right now, right? So you can never go too risk heavy because he can say something and completely change the game. And the only people that are gonna have the edge on that are people that are in his inner circle, people that backed and lobbied for him to get into office, and that's just kind of what we have to deal with for the next few years. Like him or not, if you're not in his camp, you're not making the money that the rest of these guys that are in his camp are making. So just my little rant there. I'm done yapping. Just watch price for now. See how this moves. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on what I think is going to happen in the next little bit. Oh, you heard everything? Oh, yeah. You know why you heard everything, Steels, is because uh, I didn't mute my mic in Discord. I muted it for the streaming platform that I use on OBS. So everything came out on the one mic, which is good, but DCMG, I'm not sure if you can hear me now, but I'm audio should be coming through. Hopefully. Jesus, I hope I'm not doing this. Okay, cool. I'm like, man, I'm fucking up big time if I've done this twice in one 45-minute stream. I'm rusty, but I shouldn't be that rusty. plan is to be kind of doing the same schedule, 9 o'clock, 9:30 a.m. to about 11:30, taking a break and then doing another stream from probably 2:30 to 4. Sometimes maybe a little earlier, sometimes a little bit later, but try and get that power hour in, and then the New York Open. Hopefully, hopefully I can build back the audience that I had before. It's been quite a while since I've streamed regularly or consistently, so we'll do it together. You flip from my... Oh, shit. My bad, man. My bad. I'll get back. I'll get better at this in time. I'll a couple streams and then I'll be back to my regular self. I have to figure out how to get the soundboard back too, so I can do some of the soundboard sounds. Excuse me if I sniffle or cough a little bit. I'm still fighting a cold. Hoping that tomorrow this thing's finally gone, but for now I probably sound like shit. So my apologies. Kind of ranging here on BTC. I'll take a look at SPX. Where it's kind of stuck there too, but we're in this zone. And like I said, the next place that I'd be looking to possibly take a short on SPX, well, SPX, it'll have to be a little bit higher, but SPY, it'd be towards the top of this resistance range around 689. I just don't see the risk to reward being good enough here at 68. The beginning of this zone was around 68.15, 68.19, so that obviously broke and held over. So I'm glad I didn't take that short, but maybe a little bit up closer I could see taking a short. To me, it's interesting that BTC it's not holding up as it was earlier. The liquidity is a lot lower, so unless we get a couple more of these candles like we did 15 minutes ago, then we could see BTC underperform SPY, and then maybe there was a time a little bit ago where SPY was having it would make a move and then BTC would take till after New York closed for it to do something. So maybe we're kind of back in that range or back in that trend of price action moving like that, but hard to tell for now. QQQ's struggling around 610, IWM at 264. Interesting, IWM outperforming QQQ and SPY and the Nasdaq. I'm gonna have to get some kind of co-host too, because talking to yourself out loud by yourself thing it's a little nuts. I don't know how these streamers and all these guys do this for hours and hours. I feel like I'm so full of myself, just saying my own thoughts out loud without any back and forth. All right, we're starting to get a decent move on BTC. All this talk of Jim Carrey that I keep seeing, it makes me want to watch a Jim Carrey movie. Might have to toss on Truman Show or something tonight. I haven't seen that in a while. I might have to do that actually. Hey, so I like to watch that movie like once every year or so. SPY fell back down. BTC back down. You can tell BTC wants to break back over 69 here, though. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this happening here. Oh, shit. Oops. Well, that was a shitty path. I'm going to have to redo this. Something like this. A push up to like these levels at 61,200. Maybe a pull back down to 69-ish. Then a push up to these levels. 69.4, pull back halfway of this range, and then let's just call it something like that, you know. Maybe not over this time scale. Oh, look at that, we're starting to get the first level of that push. Okay, we got the first level of that done. Pushing hard now. Wow, and look at this, the beginning of power hour, so I should have saw this coming. Cosmo, come here. Like I said, expect some resistance here at 69.2. Where's SPY? It's funny because SPY got a pullback and BTC got a huge stick of volume here, more volume than it's come in the last 2 hours. So that's interesting. Where did we top off there? This is my guess for the next little bit here. Look at this stick of volume that came in. Holy shit. Surprised no real questions been thrown my way since I've been on for this session. Coming up on an hour. If anyone's got anything they want me to take a look at, let me know. I feel like I'm sick of hearing myself talk now. The amount of like misinformation I've been seeing in the past like 24 hours is insane. Someone claiming that an Iranian missile took down a US fighter jet and it was a clip from a video game. Like what's wrong with people? Anything for engagement. The problem is like even if you try to put out content that, you know, is useful or you try to help people in any way, there's just so much slop. People can't sift through it. When you find somebody that's actually, you know, giving out information that's useful or educational at all, it's like finding the diamond in the rough. Like there's so much bullshit out here now. It's even like I thought 5 years ago it was bad during COVID, but now with AI it's just fucking terrible. Ooh, BTC got an ugly candle. Ooh, SPY's getting an ugly candle. Look at that, $2 down now. SPX at 687.60 or 680, 6,876. My bad. Man, 6,900 was not a bad spot to short. I pussied out there, and I waited for higher in this range on SPY. Should have took something for like Friday, but I looked at premiums. Premiums are high right now, so I guess it's about how much you're willing to buy in for. Personally, I'm good with taking calls this morning. I made good money off of that today. No complaints, but that's probably just me coping for missing this move. Honestly, I'm coping. See if it's going to break these lows below 685. Like below 685 would be interesting. BTC falling too, not as heavy though. This might be a decent place to take a small long. Or today was just one giant. Like they could also be, yeah, I feel like it fucks with your head because it's like they could just be trapping us for tomorrow. You know, the end today going back into the red slightly. Tomorrow goes back up. Today could have been a giant pont. Like a giant throw off, and tomorrow we could gap down after making this decent progress today from going red to green. Anything's in the air right now. There's going to be all you know though is that this is day trading heaven. The volatility is awesome. Like you could have just made a couple 100% on SPY puts. You could have probably just made 1,000, or SPX puts. You probably made 1,000% with the amount of time left if you were doing 0 DTEs. If I was looking for a long on SPX or SPY, I'd take it now. I'm personally going to stay out for now, but if I was a gambling man, I'd say this is a decent spot for a bounce. If this doesn't hold here just at 685, then you're fucked. You could probably you're probably fucked, but you could probably see a dip like into this liquidity gap here towards like 684.33 and then have another rally, maybe towards 687 for the close. Because this support here at 685 seems almost too obvious. But if you're buying into calls and for later in the week, this could be a decent spot. If you're like me and you're leaning more bullish for this week, not a bad time. Give me 2 seconds. I hear my dog's doing something shady in the other room. What are y'all doing? Huh? What are y'all up to? You a little sketchy. What are you two sketchy guys doing? I got my eye on you. Excuse me. Ugh. Jesus, man. I don't know, I should have muted my mic there. I'm fucking disgusting. I'm disgusting. If this doesn't stop by tomorrow, I'm just gonna cut my own nose off. I'm gonna Voldemort it. I'm gonna just Voldemort myself. I can't handle being like this anymore. I'm gonna Avada Kedavra my own face. Decent bounce on SPY here. Just started buying into calls for Friday or whatever, like I was saying, for a couple days out here. Probably a decent return for 5-10 minutes. Not bad. This was the level to watch here between here and 684. So we went as low as 684.89, 90. So fell $5 in 10 minutes. Man, ICT is insufferable. His posts are so lame. I don't know when it became the meta to just be a arrogant douchebag. Like, and why people feed into the egos of these guys. Like, you can be a good trader all you want, but don't be a fucking dick. Like, it's not that hard to not be a fucking piece of shit all the time. I don't know, man. But people like deify these guys, so. Personally, I'd rather have less skill and be a decent human being. Like, I don't know. You can just tell when someone's got, like, deep-rooted insecurities because they just have to post constantly about how fucking smart they are. It's like, dude, you and 1,000 other people called that we were going to move up today. You and 1,000 other people probably called that 6,900 would be resistance. Like, you know, it's just not like it's like cool. It's nice when you do it, but you don't act like you're like the second coming of God because you're doing all this shit. Like, it's not that deep. I feel like the only guys that really fall for that kind of bullshit are people who are new to trading, but whatever. Oh shit, let's check on Bitcoin. 68.8. Alright, so I might have been a little bit overzealous with my path here. We dipped a lot lower than I thought we would at 68.5. It's funny because BTC didn't get the upside when SPY was pumping to new highs, but it got the downside when it dumped. What does that say? Markets are fucked. That's what that's what it says. Who knows what this correlation is at this point? Slowly moving back up here. Hey, buddy, come here. I feel like a lot of people have the wrong, like, a misconception of what's going on in Iran right now. I won't lie and say I'm like the most educated, but when you see people talking about America bringing back democracy to Iran, like, if anything, it's still gonna be in a theocracy, like, and the most likely person to take over would be the Shah's son. And the Shah was overthrown before the Ayatollah came in. He was more progressive for some things, like the original Shah, but crackdowns on political opponents, like the political oppression was at like an all-time high when the Shah was in power. So and is it really democracy if you're just planting somebody in there that's going to work with you better? Like, that's all it is at the end of the day. These guys are just putting somebody in place because the other guy wasn't working with them enough. It's not like a giant mystery. To act like it was some noble deed, though, like, America isn't the morality police of the earth. Like, they can't, like, they're not doing things out of morality. It's because it benefits them economically in one way or another. SPY falling back while BTC is still holding up. It's a good sign for crypto. Maybe we see some relative strength. Maybe Bitcoin outperforms SPY into the end of the day. I mean, it's already outperforming it on the daily, but by a large margin. So It's crazy. The VIX is up almost 8%, or almost 8.5%. Down from 13 at the beginning of, or around Christmas, to 25 now. How right do we think I am with this path and into that? I mean, I know we dipped lower than I initially thought, but it seems like we went back and we tested the top of the wedge. Now we're moving up. I feel like 69, 70,000 by the end of the day, or maybe even shortly after New York closes. It's in the cards. We were moving fast earlier. Like every 5 minutes, we were going up like $700. So there was no reason why. Like there was obviously a decent amount of liquidity. Liquidity. I don't know what that was. Liquidity that just got pushed into the into Bitcoin. So if that tells us anything, maybe we do make the move back up. Is this March rally? It's hey intern, by the way. I think so. I mean, I'm not going to get ahead of myself until we test above that that weekly resistance at 71.5. But if we break above that and hold, I think we are seeing maybe a local bottom on Bitcoin. Wow, yeah, no joke. $3 to $8.30 on VVV in like a week. Not even. In like 5 days. It's crazy. 6 days. Almost 200% in 6 days. It's not a bad week for VVV. SPY looking a little weaker here. We could test a lower range around 684.30. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, not so bad. See if it's going to test 69.3 here. All right, come on. Keep this push moving. We've got 25 minutes till close. I'm gonna probably stream until just close and then hop off for the day. Honestly, I've been sitting here for a while now, and I'm not in anything anymore. So, I don't really have any stakes in this current price action, but... How long are my trading sessions? Like live? I try to go for like a couple hours, you know. It's been like an hour and 27 minutes now. Go for and close. Earlier, I think I did like just like an hour and a half too. So, something like that. My plan to have like a more written in stone schedule going forward, so I'll post that. I'll make like an official graphic so it looks all fancy. My plan right now is, I don't know, dude. I'm a little bit salty because I missed the move this morning. Like I got the move on SPY at open, so that was awesome. But BTC, I missed the move. I woke up right before or right after we went down to 65. So kind of sucked because I wanted below 65 to enter longs, and that would have paid off great. So now I feel like I'm chasing if I go long. I don't mind like a long move up to 70 again because I don't think that we're done with this rally. Whether that happens today or in the next few days, I don't know. I'm leaning towards it happening today, but nothing that there hasn't been any. I guess you know what, like realistically, when we were coming towards the end of this wedge, I should have probably started building a long position, but I kind of thought that we were going to retrace the lower end of this around like 68.20, which we haven't yet, or we didn't end up doing. So I guess I haven't pulled the trigger. I wasn't quick enough to pull the trigger today on Bitcoin, and that kind of bit me in the ass. Don't want to trace. I feel like this week there'll be plenty of opportunities to scalp and stuff like that, so I'm not going to rush into anything. Well, there's no need to. You were short? Ah, fuck. Well, you probably made decent money early this. For you, would be probably in the middle of the night, so you probably wouldn't have actually. That probably wouldn't have been ideal for when it actually did go down. Probably had no chance of getting out unless you had to take profits at. I read the crazy, like, some traders posted, like, I guess I have no, I shouldn't judge. I shouldn't judge. People are different than me. People are different than me. I'm trying to mature. I'm trying to be more mature. I can't be such a hater. I have the instinct, I have the gut of a hater. Like, I have the natural instinct of a hater, and I've got to change that. My first instinct is to just fucking judge the shit out of something, and I've got to be more open-minded. It's my goal. My weird goal for 2026. Be more open-minded and less of a hater. I feel like that Chappelle skit where he's like at the haters ball. Like, I feel like I should be invited to that every year. Like, in my head, I'm like the most, not like hateful towards people, but I just like, I don't know. I'm so, like, my first instinct is to be like, this guy's retarded. Like, you know, like I have that like embedded into my mind, but I need to be better. I need to be better. Answering what you said, excuse me, intern in the thing, if I'm looking to trade gold or silver, yeah, for sure. Now that, yeah, and you're also right that a lot of the crypto exchanges, futures exchanges have added traditional finance and commodities and stuff like that. Even Blowfin, BTCC was, you know, ahead of the game on that, but tokenized commodities have been added to a lot of exchanges recently, including Blowfin. You can trade a lot of different stocks on there now, and you can trade gold, oil, shit like that. So I'm not like, I don't follow it close enough to be like, I have a plan for it, so I don't want to lot, like, I don't want to put it, some people really trade it, and there's probably better minds out there. There's probably people who are a little bit more locked in on precious metals that you should look for an opinion on when it comes to that. I mean, it's not my exact wheelhouse. I can look at price action and, you know, judge it somewhat, but there's a lot of different factors that go into the pricing of precious metals, so I'll admit when I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? Oh, I just saw the YouTube comments here too. My bad. What time zone are I'm in Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard. I'm in Canada, kind of close to Detroit, Michigan. I'm real close there. So if you're from the States or whatever, if that gives you a better idea. So for me, power hours between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Market closes in 16 minutes. The plan will be to do this every day. At very minimum, either power hour or New York Open. Like, one or the other, and most of the time both. I'm going to lean more, like, if I had to pick one, I'll do Open. If I have something to do in the morning, I'll make sure to do the last hour, but that's going to be the schedule. I know myself better now than to like put myself in too rigid of a schedule, because if I mess it up, then if I miss a slot or a day or whatever, then I just spiral and I don't pop back on stream because I like feel bad, which is not the right mindset to have. But for whatever reason, it's kind of I think it's what kind of got me out of streaming, is I found that my life got a little bit more hectic and I wasn't able to do a rigid schedule, which is terrible for trying to gain a consistent audience. So plan is market open, last hour for market close, probably a couple hours at the beginning of the day from market open, and that's it. Gonna keep it simple. Trade options, I trade futures, some commodities here and there, or precious metals, stuff like that. Not a forex guy, so if you're into forex, I'm not really the trader for you. But anything else, I'd like to dip my toes in. Come on, last 15 minutes, 14 minutes here. We gotta have something happen. Entertain us. Let's see a move. Do something. Bitcoin's holding over 69, so could be worse. I've taken my eyes off SPY for a little bit here. Oh, SPY got a nice push up too, actually. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Bitcoin heard me. Bitcoin heard me. I told it to entertain us, told it to do something. Boom, look at that candle. 69,330. We moved up, I think, as close as 69, almost 400. This path, I mean, wasn't the greatest. I'll admit that it wasn't the best drawing here, but it did have some validity. The trend stayed up. It's not like we just went all the way down. We still went up. We retraced a little bit more than I would have liked to, but not bad. Could be worse. I feel like that sell-off was a trap for traders to kind of get out of their longs. And now tomorrow we're going to continue this rally. It could be wrong. It could be the bellwether for what's to come tomorrow, but in my the way I'm looking at it is I think that the news is in, we know what's going on, there's less uncertainty, there's more room to go up. There might be some chop in between in the next few days, but nothing that the bulls can't handle. Oh, okay. Okay, well, I should have probably known this too. The advisor to the commander of the IRGC, the regime that was formerly, or still, I guess, in control in Iran, said the Strait of Hormuz is now closed, which I don't know why that really affected the market. That I think we all knew that was going to be the case. I think that has been the case for at least a day now, so that's the only news that I can see that came out, is that those advisors had said something. Let's see if SPY's going to get back above 687. I think this wedge breakout was a pretty good call, though. To start, like, we've been streaming for almost an hour, and almost 2 hours, but I called out the falling wedge here. We had the breakout. We've had more than almost $1,000 in upside on BTC since, so hopefully somebody got a piece of that. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Okay, come on, let's make another new high here before close. We have 8 minutes. 8 minutes. SPY struggled to get above 687. It looks like it's going to test back around 686. What are you guys doing? Here we go. SPY's pushing up. 686.83. There we go. 687 broke, so that's bullish on SPY. See if it can hold, but it's weird. As soon as I get there's some kind of inverse relationship with SPY and BTC right now because we've got 5 minutes until New York closes. SPY, broke to the upside, and then Bitcoin topped out here. But if I may add, we topped out at that 69.5 level where I had predicted we'd go, so not bad. My dog seems to be pretty excited about that. Milo, relax. Milo. Three more minutes left. SPY's pretty much just at 687. SPX around 688.5. BTC still over 69K. So bullish close, honestly. So far, well, I won't jinx it. I always knock on wood, but 3 minutes left. And right now it looks good. That could change in 30 seconds, so I won't be that guy. All right, SPY's holding over 687. Pull back here on BTC with 1 minute to go. SPY, same deal. Just rejected 687.30. See if it's going to close above 687. I feel like that's decently bullish. A lot of volume incoming here at the end of the day, though, and it seems to be sell volume. Whoa, 686.42. I feel like they're going to keep the markets green just to give something for Trump to brag about. There we go, closed off. Markets for all that, markets ended up pretty much flat, up 34 cents on SPY for the day, up $3 on SPX. BTC though outperformed, up 5%. Just fell back below 69K, but we'll see what the move here is on BTC. If it pulls back hard, if it pulls back towards 67.7, that's where I'd look to, like in this area is where I'd look to buy in again. Hopefully, that'd be a gift, honestly, if we did fall around here. But for now, BTC completely outperformed the markets, up 5%. SPY relatively flat, but did start off minus 1%. So red to green, not bad. Not a bad day for equity markets, considering everyone was saying we'd open up minus 8%, and this is the start of World War III and all the other fear mongering that was coming through. So not bad. Not bad at all. I think we could see this retest around 67. That would be awesome. If you wanted, this will be my last thing that before I leave you guys. A short here at 68,000, 69,000 wouldn't be a bad move. You could put a stop loss around 69,700, maybe even a little bit lower, and go for that 67,700 level. So that gives you a pretty decent risk to reward, right? You're taking almost a $2,000 move for a little bit around a $700 move of risk. So decent risk to reward, and that'll be the trade that I leave you guys with. If you want to take that, you have my blessing. I don't think that's a bad move. So thanks for joining me. If you joined me today, I will be back tomorrow for New York Open, and I'll be in the Discord posting my thoughts and trading after hours today, especially for towards New York or towards Asia Open and when futures open for the U.S. stock market. So if you want access to the Discord, just message me on Twitter or at me on Twitter, and I'll get you in there. Have a good